If you haven't been living under a rock recently, you've probably heard about how people are using AI to generate incredible images. There are many tools available like DALL-E, Midjourney and Artbreeder. But what's so special about Stable Diffusion? And how can you set up Stable Diffusion locally even if you don't know how to code? Well, here's everything you need to know about Stable Diffusion. But before we dive in, here's a fun challenge. Leave a comment with a prompt for an image you'd like to create once Stable Diffusion is ready on your machine and set up. So let's get started. First things first, what is Stable Diffusion? In simple terms, it's a deep learning model capable of generating images from text prompts. It's based on the concept of diffusion models, which iteratively refine random noise into coherent images. We all know that, right? Just as you can with Midjourney, you might be wondering if there's an easier way to use Stable Diffusion without setting it up locally. Well, there is. You can use it online at stablediffusionweb.com. Don't worry, the link is in the description. However, the web version has some limitations. It doesn't provide the same level of customization and control over picture settings and models as the local version does. That's why we're focusing on setting it up on your computer. Installing Stable Diffusion locally allows you to use its full potential. You get more control over the image generation process, including adjusting various settings and using different models. This flexibility can significantly enhance the quality and creativity of your outputs. So now let's finally get into the detailed steps to install Stable Diffusion on your computer. I'll guide you through each step so you can follow along easily. The first thing you'll need to do is to create accounts on a couple of websites. These accounts will be essential for downloading the necessary files and tools. Head over to GitHub and sign up for an account if you don't already have one. Next, go to Hugging Face and create an account there as well. Once you have these accounts set up, just log into both websites. To interact with the repositories, we'll install Git Bash. It's a command line interface that makes it easy to run Git commands. Don't worry if you don't know what these terminologies mean. So next, visit the Git Bash download page. Download the installer and run it. Follow the installation instructions, and once it's installed, launch Git Bash. So now you might wonder, why do we even need Git Bash? Well, Git Bash provides a set of tools that emulates the Git command line, allowing you to manage and interact with your projects. This is crucial for cloning the Stable Diffusion repository, which we'll do in the next step. Next, we need to create a directory on our computer where we'll store all the necessary files for Stable Diffusion. If directory sounds unfamiliar, I'm actually just talking about a folder. So open your C drive, create a new folder, name it Stable-Diffusion, and now copy the location of this folder because we will need it later. Creating a specific directory helps keep all your project files organized and ensures that everything is in one place when you need to access or modify them. Now it's time to download the Stable Diffusion web UI. So it's basically the design of the Stable Web Diffusion web page, which makes it easier for everyone to understand. For this, copy this code from GitHub, and don't worry, you can get all these links from the description easily. Now navigate to the Stable Diffusion directory by typing cd followed by the path to the folder. Then enter the command git clone and this link right here. This will clone the Stable Diffusion repository into your directory. Cloning a repository means you're copying all the files and history from a remote server, in this case GitHub, to your local machine. This is essential for accessing and running the Stable Diffusion code. Once it's done, you can also see a new folder, Stable-Diffusion-Web UI, inside the existing Stable Diffusion directory. Wait, we need to download one more thing though. GFP-GAN. Follow this link and download the latest version of it. Great. Now, while it's being downloaded, let's install the dependencies to make everything work. Go to the Python website and download the version 3.10.6 specifically, as the latest version can cause errors. If you already have a newer version installed, you need to downgrade. So, dependencies are external pieces of software that our project needs to run correctly. In this case, Python is a programming language that Stable Diffusion uses to execute its code. Run the installer and make sure to check the Add Python to Path before clicking Install. This ensures that you can run Python from any command line interface on your computer. Back in the command prompt window, navigate to the Stable Diffusion directory and install the required Python packages by running this command right here. These packages are additional dependencies specified by the project that are necessary for Stable Diffusion to function. The requirements.txt file lists all the Python packages needed, and the pip install command downloads and installs them for you. Stable Diffusion requires pre-trained models to generate images. Let's download them as well. The Hugging Face model page and download the model files. Now, you may or may not need to download all the models. For our sake, I will go with this one. Let's wait for it to be downloaded. And once downloaded, place the file in the models directory inside your Stable Diffusion Web UI folder. Also, cut and paste the gfp-gan file into Stable Diffusion Web UI. Now for the moment of truth, let's run Stable Diffusion. Open your Stable Diffusion Web UI folder and search for the file called webui-user.bat and double click on it. This will start the process. The first time, this might take a little longer, so be patient. Once it's done, you'll see a URL in the terminal. Let's copy this URL and paste it into our web browser. This command tells Python to run the script that launches the web interface for Stable Diffusion, allowing you to interact with it through your browser. Good. Now that we have Stable Diffusion running, let's generate some images. For example, let's see if Stable Diffusion can make us something like an astronaut on the moon. Click on Generate and there we go, the image is ready. In the web UI, you can enter prompts and tweak settings to generate images. Experiment with different inputs to see the range of images you can create. You can customize various parameters like the sampling method, schedule type, and sampling steps. For example, using the sampling method dpm++2m and setting the schedule type to automatic can yield high quality images. Play around with these settings to see what works best for your prompt. And now it's time for you to see what the prompt you commented in the beginning of this video looks like. And here you have it, a complete guide to setting up and using Stable Diffusion on your computer. Please let me know in the comments if you faced any issues and I will try to help you out. But other than that, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you subscribed if you haven't done so already, and also leave a like if you haven't done that, and I hope to see you in the next video.